Reflection, Chapter 9. They're alive, Mulan murmured. They're ghosts, corrected Shishi, backing away from the shriveled bamboo. Ghosts being punished for their human misdeeds on Earth. A brush of twigs crunched under Mulan's feet. She stepped aside, watching them shake over to their parent plant and reattach themselves. The scratches she made were gone, and all the branches Shishi had cleared had regenerated. She looked more closely at that hunchback shape. The forest cloudy mist gathered around it more strongly than around the other bamboo. It almost seemed to have a face. The topmost bamboo nodes bent forward, creating what looked like a neck, and she thought she could make out 2 eyes and a mouth. She pressed her ear against it. "Help me," a voice whispered from the plant just as Shishi let out a terrible roar. "I knew it," he rumbled. "Yama tricked us. We're trapped." He raised his paw to smash the plant down, but Mulan raised her arms high to block him. "Wait!" she cried. "I think we keep coming back to this plant for a reason. It said something to me." "Help me," the bamboo repeated. "If we're going to save Li Shang, we aren't going to do it by listening to a grove of demonic bamboo." "Just give me a minute," Mulan said. She turned to face the hunchback plant. There was something forlorn about his expression, something pained and frustrated. "A man grows most tired while standing still," her father would say when Mulan would complain about having to practice good posture for hours on end. But then she could feel her father limping into a room with his cane and automatically straighten her spine. She remembered how difficult it was for him to walk without it, harder still for him to stand straight. "I think I know what to do," she murmured. She scanned the area by the hunchback plant, looking for a fallen branch. Most of them were cracked, crooked, or twisted. She needed one straight as a rod, one that could serve as a cane. There! She knelt and scrabbled through the bush. "What in the Emperor's name are you doing?" Shishi rasped. She ignored him. Mulan studied the hunchback bamboo plant again. Its spine curled over, with a branch extending from it slumped down like a heavy arm. If she could fit the cane there just to raise that spine up, the man could stand tall again. Gingerly, Mulan nudged the rod into place. "You're wasting our time to do some gardening." "Look," she whispered. "Now he's standing tall." The bamboo began to glow, and then it shook, so violently that the rod Mulan had just inserted flew through the air. "Stand back," Shishi yelled. "We must have unleashed a spirit." A ghost emerged from the tree, but not the angry, vicious one Mulan and Shishi had been expecting. "General Li?" Shishi rasped, still frozen in shock. Mulan blinked, just as surprised as Shishi was to see Shang's father. General Li rubbed his back briefly. I thought I was going to be stuck in there all for days. Thank you for finding me. I intended to wait for you here by the door, but the bamboo trapped me." Shishi was still speechless. General Li touched the lion's cheek. "It's good to see you, old friend. I am grateful you made it. Both of you." General Li still glowed with a pale blue aura. He was even more luminous than she'd seen him on Earth. In fact, he was so translucent she could practically see the bamboo behind him. "I cannot stay long," Shang's father continued. "King Yama's guards are looking for me." "Why?" Shishi said, his chest rising. "What have you done?" General Li gave his former guardian a mild smile. "Old friend, they're looking for me because I am to ascend to heaven. They were supposed to escort me to the gates hours ago, but I wanted to stay here in Dayu, to help you." "We can't find him," Mulan blurted. "I don't even know where to begin looking." "Dayu is not an easy place to navigate, but Shang is not too far from here." General Li stepped aside. Behind him, the forest's heavy mist thinned, revealing a watery portal between 2 bamboo plants marked by bronze demon medallions. "You'll find him at the Tower of the Last Glance to Home," General Li said, gesturing to the door. Mulan squinted through the portal and spied a scarlet and emerald tower with a sloping gold-tiered roof and elaborately latticed windows. It spiraled up toward the dark sky like a festive kite still tethered to the ground. "It was where all ghosts go before they are reincarnated," General Li said, "to reflect and remember home. In the morning, Miang Po, the Lady of Forgetfulness, will bring Shang a cup of tea. Once he drinks, he will forget everything. His family, his friends, even his name. Then he will float back to Earth into a new life. Shang's time in the tower is the last time he will remember any of us. Mulan swallowed. I will not let that happen. Finding my son will be the easier part, General Li said. But the lower you venture into Daiyu, the deeper into King Yama's domain you will go. Look for the doors with the bronze medallions of demon heads. Mulan nodded. And the doors, how do I find them? Some of them you cannot. You will need help, but most levels are marked. General Li gestured at the 2 plaques on either side of the doorway. Only now did Mulan see the number written underneath each bronze demon head. 79, she read. How did you get to the 79th level of Daiyu? I don't remember. It is easier to descend than ascend, Shi interrupted. The only path out is up. What level is King Yama's throne room on? I'm not sure, said General Li, but Shi is right. You must ascend to exit Daiyu. He paused. But it won't be so easy. Daiyu is a treacherous place, and it is easy to lose oneself. The ghosts on the bridge are spreading word of your arrival, and many will try to thwart your attempts to save my son, simply for amusement. Do you know how we can return to the exit? Sadly, I do not. Few know their way around Daiyu. It took me a long time to find this particular door to Shang. It's a start, she said gently. Thank you. She started to climb onto Shishi's back, but Shang's father wasn't finished. Ping, wait. My son is like me in many ways. He'll have accepted his death. He'll believe the honorable path is to die. You must convince him otherwise. I will. It won't be easy, General Li said, hesitating. He may not believe you. Remind him of his childhood. His voice grew hoarse. Remind him that when he was only 6 years old, he wanted so much to accompany me to war that he sneaked into my trunk. I didn't realize he was there until I was half a day from home. I told him to walk back barefoot in the rain, to teach him obedience and patience. It was a harsh punishment, especially for such a little boy, but Shang did not complain. I continued on my way, but after a while I turned back and took him home to his mother. When I told him that one day we would fight together, that he would lead my soldiers, until then he had to wait. Mulan pursed her lips. Baba had always told her to wait too. He teased her for being impatient, for wanting to prove her worth. Except Shang was a boy. He knew he'd got to prove himself one day. And me. Her chest tightened, and she remembered her last dinner at home, the last fight she had with her Baba. You shouldn't have to go, she'd said. Mulan, there are plenty of young men to fight for China. It is an honor to protect my country and my family. So you'll die for honor. I will die doing what's right. But I know my place. It is time you learned yours. She'd been so petulant, so angry, and yet she didn't regret going to his place. Only that she deceived her family. Ping, said General Li, breaking her thoughts. Shang's life is not supposed to end like this. You may think I say that because he is my son, but it's more than that. His heart has always been on protecting his family, his country, his friends. He is too young to die. There is so much more good he can do for China. You must make him see that his path is his life. I will, she said fiercely. Mulan looked up at Shang's father, meeting his eyes. I promise I'll find Shang, and I'll bring him back. Her determination brought a sad but hopeful smile to the general's face. I believe you. I do not know if I will see you again, Ping, but when you find Shang, tell him he was honored me greatly. And tell him I'm sorry. I'm sorry we never had the chance to fight together. Mulan's throat dried, and no words could crawl out. She simply bowed her head. Go. You have my trust. Those words again. Why did the words prick at her conscience so much? Shang had spoken them to her only hours ago, honoring her. His words had hurt her then too. She didn't deserve them. She managed a meager smile. I won't let you down, General. With a curt nod, General Li stepped behind the mist and was gone. Mulan turned to the portal, her eyes on the tower of the last glance to home in the distance, then on the full moon hanging above. The dark band ringing the moon was definitely getting thicker. She stepped through the door. "I'm coming, Shang."